In this segment, we'll use CSS to apply styles to this HTML page. In order to do that, I need to go over to my CSS Designer tab. And I want to create an external style sheet. You can make internal styles, of course, but I want to have it all in an external style sheet. So I'm just going to go up to my source and add a new CSS source. So I have three choices, and I want to create a new CSS file. If one already exists, you could simply attach it. And defining a page means that the CSS style will be kept in the head primarily. But let's create a new CSS file right here. And it will ask me to browse. So I will click on my site root here. And I actually want to create a new folder. So I'll create new folder. We'll call it CSS. Click create. And it's inside of there that I'll save my file. And I'll save the file as styles.css. And just save that in there. And click, it should be on link, and then click OK. So I've actually just established a new style sheet. If I'm going to double click this to close that and make a bit of room here. And the next thing will be, we'll skip the at media. We'll use that in a future lesson, but we'll go to the selectors. We want to add a selector. In other words, we want to apply style, in this case, to the body tag. I want to put a background in. So I can actually begin that, just select the body tag, and you can see in my code view that when I select it, it highlights the open and closing tags. And by doing that, when I go to selector, that will automatically appear. So when I click add, there it is. Now I could have conceivably typed that as well, but there it is. So I just need to hit my return key now. And there we have it. And that brings us down to properties. So let me just move this up a bit more. And we have 5 categories here. We've got the layout, text, border, background, which is the one we'll use in a second, and others, more. Now show set, if I click that button, it would show only the ones that are currently applied to that tag. So right now none are applied, and I could simply type in here and add some, but if I click off of there, I do see the whole array of selections for applying a style. So let's go over to the background category. And you see here we have background color. If I click down on here, I can apply a color in here, and you will get the hexadecimal number there. And if I hit my return key, it applies. So you may see my page is now a warm gray in the background. But I actually want to go a bit further on this and apply an image. So you can see directly below there, I have apply background image, and I can hit the browse button to search for it. Now I have a folder on my desktop with a pile of assets in it. So I'm just going to go there, and it's called assets, and I'll use the file called bkgd background.jpg. Select it, click open. Now here, this is important, because I'm getting this file from outside of the root, Dreamweaver is telling me that this file has to be inside of the root, and it's asking me if I would like to make a copy there now, and very courteous, and I will say yes. Otherwise, I should have placed this file in the root where I wanted it to go before trying to access it. So this is from just a loose folder outside on my desktop. So I click yes, meaning it's going to copy it into my file, and it asks me where. Once again, just to formalize this, I'm going to create a new folder, and I will call it images, and this is where I will save that background image. So I'll click save, and now again it's inside of the root folder, it's inside the website, so a relative pathway will be applied to that. Now let's take that even further. Let's go down and let's see here, background, size, I'm going to choose cover, and that way it'll always fit in the page. Cover. Alright, and how about background attachment? Let's click that to fixed. That means it won't scroll with the page. You saw the options were scroll and fixed. So by default it scrolled. So I've changed the background size to fill, to cover the page. I've also made it fixed so that if I scroll, the image will stay fixed to the background. Now the other thing to bring to your attention, I should have probably done this sooner. If you look up here, there's an extra tab. As soon as I created my external style sheet, it created this tab. Now let me click on it because we'll see all the styles that have been applied. And there's my style sheet with the body tag. And then inside of the curly brackets, you see the 4 properties that have been applied. Now the asterisk tells me that it's not yet been saved. And I can see that my file is also not saved to the current changes. So get used to going up to File and Save All when you have a CSS style sheet attached. And you notice now the asterisk is gone, meaning that the file is currently saved. So let's take a look at this now. I'm going to click back on source code. I usually have source code open over here. But I can go into CSS and work on that page. I actually am accessing the CSS file directly here. I can preview this in the browser by going real-time preview. What real-time preview means is any changes I make after opening this in the browser will automatically update in the browser, so I don't actually have to go and refresh, unlike using previous versions. So let's drop this into Firefox. And there it is. So if I resize my page, you can see the image is filling. And if I make it small enough for scrolling, you can see that the content scrolls, but the background image does not scroll. So those are the basics in initiating a CSS external file and applying a file to a tag. I mean, applying styles to a tag. And the next step, I think, is maybe we'll apply some custom styles for some text elements.